Hi, I am Dr. Sushmita Das, practicing gynecologist at Aster Hospital, Mankul. Today I have come with the topic of COVID during pregnancy, childbirth and aftercare, and I attempt to clear some of our concerns in relation to this topic. COVID-19 was first reported in Wuhan in China 2019 December, and we are yet going through the second wave. Novel coronavirus is mostly transmitted by droplet infection, contact with infected person or contact with infected objects. It is found to affect mostly people in age group more than 30 years and less likely to happen to children less than 10 years. Pregnant women as such have no increased risk to COVID infection, but if they get this infection, their condition can be very severe. Even chances of hospital admission is also not increased among pregnant women, but if they get hospitalized, risk of chances of ICU care, chances of assisted ventilation, chances of depression and anxiety also increases. The death rates among pregnant women is also not increased because most of the pregnant women are asymptomatic and more than 90% they recover without even urgent delivery. Women with BMI more than 30, with other medical conditions like diabetes, heart disease, kidney problems are more susceptible. When an asymptomatic woman comes with symptoms like vomiting, nausea, shortness of breath, nasal congestion, they can be also symptoms of normal pregnancy. But if a pregnant woman had history of exposure, like history of travel, contact with other infected person or visited hotspot areas, or she has fever, breathlessness, severe myalgia, a loss in sense of taste or smell, other GI symptoms like vomiting, loose motions, she should get her COVID test done. Now, COVID test, we usually the sample is taken through the nose, from the throat, and RT-PCR is sent. The report is mostly available in 24 hours. If the test report is negative and still the woman is symptomatic or she is deteriorating, she can repeat her test after 24 to 48 hours to be sure. Chest X-rays, CT scan can be done in pregnant women if there is clear signs of lung involvement. It is not harmful for the baby to have once X-ray or CT scan because the dose of radiation is much less than the safety threshold. There could be other blood parameters, derangement of other blood parameters like reduction in lymphocyte counts, increase in WBC counts, abnormal liver function tests, or there can be low platelet counts. In these cases, she should be evaluated by a gynecologist because certain obstetric related disorders like preeclampsia can have an overlapping picture. Mild or asymptomatic diseases can be managed at home, but she should make sure to come back for an antenatal checkup after 14 days of confinement. Moderate and severe diseases will always need a hospitalization. During pregnancy, the risk of transfer to the baby is very rare. Risk of miscarriage or risk of congenital malformation is also neither increased. But if a woman has high-grade fever, she should promptly take paracetamols to reduce her temperature because high temperature can in fact cause miscarriage or neural tube defects. Her number of antenatal visits can be tailored as per her case and can be reduced to 4 to 5 visits, keeping in mind to do all the relevant investigations and scans during her visit. She can continue her routine multivitamins. She can take vitamin D tablets if she has already been prescribed. She can take her routine vaccinations like Tdap vaccines. She can take her anti-D immunoglobulins as scheduled. She should monitor her fetal movement count at home, and if she starts having leaking or preterm labor, she should immediately inform at the hospital to the concerning staff so that she can be efficiently isolated and taken care of in the hospital. Usually there is no indication to prepone, postpone or reschedule delivery or induction solely for the COVID status. However, if she is very sick, we try to pull the pregnancy till 32 to 34 weeks, keeping the well-being of the baby in mind. Chances of preterm delivery and cesarean sections are increased in COVID patients because of abnormal heart rate pattern detected during the routine monitoring. During hospital admission, the patient as well as her baby are monitored, and sometimes she may receive antivirals, antibiotics, anticoagulants, corticosteroids with other supportive measures. Patient can have epidural anesthesia as a mode of anesthesia, which is preferable at the vaginal or cesarean section. After delivery, the baby is screened for infection and is isolated from the other babies till the reports are available. But baby can be confined with the mother and breastfeeding is encouraged. Mother should take adequate precautions while feeding the baby, like cleaning breasts, washing hands, wearing masks while feeding the baby. She should keep the baby at a distance of 6 meters while not feeding. Another option is she can express the milk under clean conditions and the baby can be fed by any other healthy person. Chances of baby being infected or being symptomatic are very unlikely, and most of the babies stay asymptomatic. Most of our mothers so far in this hospital had very quick recovery and were discharged in stable condition. Now, concluding my topic with vaccination. Vaccines are mostly mRNA based. That means they don't have infectious viral particles. But there has not been any trials on pregnant and lactating mothers about the effect of vaccines on them. That is why a pregnant or a lactating mother may take a vaccine if she is willing to do so, or she has to take for being a healthcare personnel or something. And last, it doesn't have any effect on fertility. So couples who are trying to conceive can also take this vaccine. Thank you.